Everywhere. How have the markets actually reacted to Steinhoff's nearly 20 billion rand loss?
Also, on Steinhoff, shares fell by 8% in the morning, of course, to the news that the 19.3 billion net loss that Steinhoff suffered. Of course, some will argue that these are better numbers. Of course, if you compare it to the previous year, where the numbers will tell you that the net loss there was around 65 billion rands. Of course, if you take a look at Steinhoff as a whole, especially from December 2017, when Marcus Jooste, the then CEO, resigned, the share price of Steinhoff itself fell by over 90%. So some analysts are arguing that these numbers were expected. This report was expected. But I also spoke to Viv Govender, a market analyst, and basically this is what he had to say.
It hasn't been a brilliant reaction. They're down about 5%, but I mean it's not a liquid stock. But that being said, if the results were brilliant, I mean, we would have seen the market react very positively. Remember, the stock is down still from the highs, 90+%, 95+%. So we could see the stock recover, or double from here, and basically not make a dent almost in the total amount of losses the company's experienced. So the fact that we see basically a muted to slightly negative results at the moment does mean that the market's not too positive about what comes out. The thing with Steinhoff is that it's a very, very big option in terms of what's happening out there, because it's a call option what's left over of the Steinhoff company. I mean, from here you can fall to zero, that's about it. If there's actual real value left in that company, it could double, triple, quadruple from here. But the market doesn't believe that's the case. And I think there's so many concerns about whether or not it's an ongoing concern at the moment. Means that it's a very brave investor that gets into the company at the moment.
So, everywhere, the former CEO, Marcus Jooste, resigned in December 2017 under a cloud of controversy. Has anyone actually been brought to book yet?
Well, that's the major issue so far, Shahan. No one has actually been brought to book. It's one of the complaints that has been coming forth, that someone needs to at least go and face trial. No charges have been brought against Marcus Jooste or any of the 8 executives that have been actually implicated in the PwC report. I spoke to some analysts as well earlier on who are calling for at least someone to appear in court and therefore be released on a bail that, of course, is amounting to millions. But of course, it is one of those issues where accounting regularities take the fall as to the actual fraud that took place. That's one of the issues I picked up with Professor Yanni Rousseau from Wits. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
It's amazing that no charges have been brought against any of the Steinhoff executives, like Mr. Marcus Jooste, etc. It's time for the prosecuting authority to bring legal action against the executive management, because clearly they conducted themselves in a fraudulent manner.
Now, Steinhoff has employees in over 30 countries with local stores like Pepco, Taki Town and Hi-Fi Corp locally. What's the future of these stores and its employees?
Well, the simple answer to that, Sean, is that no one knows. It's one of the issues that I've been probing with a number of people, and the simple answer is that they do not know at this stage. Of course, if you understand, Steinhoff itself is facing a number of legal battles, which will, of course, amount to billions. There are, of course, also irregularity probes. I've got a list here of some of the things that are going through. There are regularity probes, various investigations into them, debt restructuring, which will, of course, include selling some of the assets. But how do they sell the assets when the true value of those assets aren't even known? There is the issue of they are a going concern as it is, which is, of course, one notch above, just one step closer to being at business rescue. And the other critical question is, who will invest in Steinhoff at the current moment? And no bank is also willing to lend and sell to them. So it's quite difficult to paint a future of Steinhoff at this current moment, Shahan.
All right, we'll leave it right there. Our reporter, Aviwe Mtila.